Well, last week we had a fantastic weekend in Northern Ireland, but today we're back on the UK mainland. Welcome to the 2018 Cumberland Grand National Scramble. Yes, well, hello again all my YouTubers and welcome back to Classic Dirt Bike TV as we take a look at all of the racing action from the 2018 Cumberland Grand National Scramble from Lownthwaite Farm in Penrith. Now, almost every race will be covered here in two separate videos on my channel, and we're going to begin with the first of two British Classic Championship races which will take place at this 2018 Cumberland event. Now, in this race there are some of the country's best Classic Scrambles racers, so look out for riders including Chris Winder, Chris Chell, Aaron Graves, Liston Bell, Trevor Calderwood from Northern Ireland, and Greaves rider Joss Goddard, to name just a few. Now, as you can see, the weather just couldn't be better for this kind of vintage racing, so we're very happy to have these superb summer conditions as the riders line up for race one. Now, this British Championship race, of course, is sponsored by the AMCA and Classic Dirt Bike magazine. So as the riders just leave the line, it looks like a very good start by Trevor Calderwood from Ireland. That's Liston Bell, number 98, going round the outside. So as they all safely make turn one, the first of two British Championship races gets underway. And so as we look to the top of the track to pick up our race leader, it's number 98. That's Liston Bell on the 540 Jawa Matisse as your race leader. Second position looks like Chris Winder, number 285 on that beautiful CLR Honda 250 Elsinore. Number 32 there, that's Trevor Calderwood from Northern Ireland. Trevor, of course, riding a very quick CZ machine. And so as they head into the centre of the racetrack for lap one, it's still Liston Bell first, Chris Winder second, Trevor Calderwood third. It looks like Chris Chell is in fourth place. Aaron Graves just making a move through there. Number 9 is Lewis Bell as the remainder of this British Classic Championship race make their way through the turn. And so as the riders begin lap 2, we look to the far side of the track and it looks like we have a change of leader at the front. It's number 285, that's Chris Winder on that very quick 250 Honda Elsinore. Second position is Liston Bell. Third is Chris Chell on that beautiful BSA. Nice to see Chris back racing once again here at these Classic Scramble events. Fourth place is Trevor Calderwood, number 32. And just going through there was Aaron Graves, who is currently leading the pre-1965 British Championship with 62 points. Now it looks like we've got a faller there and two fallers in that particular corner, but both riders look okay. So as we look towards our race leader, it's still Chris Winder with Liston Bell very close behind. Chris Chell on that Shenny BSA, who is also very quick. So these first three riders having a good ding-dong battle in this first British Championship race. Now, of course, these two British Championship rounds are 10 laps of the track as opposed to lesser laps for the up-and-coming other classes. So there are some very talented vintage racers in this particular race, almost the cream of the UK and Northern Ireland taking part in this fantastic British Championship racing event. So there is your race leader. It's still Chris Winder on the 250 CLR Honda Elsinore. Second now is Chris Chell. Third is Liston Bell. Now Chris Winder, of course, is currently leading the pre-1975 part of the British Classic Motocross Championship with 55 points, so he's looking to add to his title challenge at this round here at the Cumberland Grand National. So that's Chris Chell going through in second. Liston Bell is in third. As we look to the far side of the track to pick up our race leader, which is still Chris Winder. Now, of course, we have two separate classes racing in this British Championship round, with the pre-65 class and the pre-75 class, which of course will be scored separately. So we're looking at our third place rider there, number 98 from Scotland, that's Liston Bell. Number 32 here is Trevor Calderwood from Northern Ireland. Number 188, that's Aaron Graves on that beautiful and very quick BSA. And so as the laps count down on this first British Championship race, this is, of course, is race 1 of 2 that you will see at this round. Second position there is number 264, that's Chris Chell. Number 98, Liston Bell. In fourth position is this man here, number 32, Trevor Calderwood. And Trevor is a well respected and very quick rider from Newton Ards in Northern Ireland. So as the riders cross the line to complete yet another lap, it's still Chris Winder who is your race leader. Now number 425 there, that's Luke Womack on his Walker BSA 440, a lovely machine. And number 170 coming towards us there, that's Michael McNiven on the 380 CZ. So as the racing laps count down, this is still your race leader who has led from almost lap 1. It's number 285, Chris Winder on that CLR 250 Elsinore Honda. Second place is Chris Chell on the Shenny BSA. Third is Liston Bell on his 500 Jawa. Irishman Trevor Calderwood, number 32, is still there in fourth position. Fifth position now is Lewis Bell, number 9. Number 188 is Aaron Graves, riding absolutely superbly on that BSA. Now coming towards us is number 115, that's Nick Archer on his BSA, with number 507, that's Joss Goddard on the big Greaves. Although here is your race leader, it's still number 285, Chris Winder, who is absolutely flying on that CR 250 Elsinore. Lovely bike this. Second place is now Liston Bell, number 98 on the Jawa 500. It appears that Liston has made the move on Chris Chell. And so it looks like number 32, Trevor Calderwood, is now your new third place position rider. Number 9 is Lewis Bell. Aaron Graves there on the BSA, number 188, is still digging in, trying to make a pass on both of these riders ahead of him, but it's number 9, Lewis Bell, who is keeping a watching brief with these two riders close behind. Three very quick riders together here. Now Trevor Calderwood, number 32, of course, is an ex-World CZ champion when he took that title at the Don Matthews event in California some years ago. And so we're looking at this battle for third position. Lewis Bell is still in third position. Trevor Calderwood is in fourth, with Aaron Graves on the BSA in fifth, but there's absolutely nothing to choose between these three riders, but it's Lewis Bell here, number 9, who is your third placed rider, with Trevor Calderwood in fourth and Aaron Graves in 5th. Now Lewis Bell, of course, is riding his Tribsa in this particular race, the Triumph engine with the BSA frame, and Lewis also rides a very quick CCM, and we may see him in action on that bike later in the video. So it's still Lewis Bell 3rd, Trevor Calderwood 4th, and Aaron Graves, who just can't appear to do anything about the speed of the Irishman Trevor Calderwood ahead of him. And so currently it's still Chris Winder who is your race leader. 2nd is Liston Bell. 3rd is Lewis Bell, number 9 on the Tribsa. 4th is Trevor Calderwood, number 32 on the CZ, with Aaron Graves on the BSA close behind. So as riders come round to complete another lap, a fantastic race developing between this 3rd, 4th and 5th place riders. So as we pick up our racers as they head towards the checkered flag on the final lap of this British Championship race, it's still Chris Winder, your race leader. Now there doesn't seem to be any sign of Liston Bell, who was sitting in 2nd position. So here is your race leader and winner of the first British Championship race. It's number 285, it's Chris Winder on the CR250 Elsinore. Now this could be our 2nd place rider. It's number 9, Lewis Bell on the Tribsa, who is going to take that runner-up spot from 3rd position rider Trevor Calderwood, with Aaron Graves sitting there in 4th position. Okay, next up we have the very fast riders of the Twinshock A class. Now look out for our guest of honour in this pack, Mark Fulton. We also have other quick riders, including the likes of Paul Chiappa, Craig Smith, Chris Cannon on the Suzuki, and David Houston. So as they leave the line, it looks like a fantastic start there by number 93. That's Nigel Sowerby on the 81-490 Michael. Yes, it is. It's Nigel Sowerby who is your race leader as the riders head into the turn, with Alan Bott in 2nd place. Number 48 going through there is Mark Fulton, and I'm sure that Mark won't be long before he hits the front on that very quick 500 Brian Wood sponsored Honda. So as the riders come towards us, it's now Alan Bott who is your race leader from number 48, Mark Fulton. Nigel Sowerby, number 93, is in 3rd position. Paul Chiappa going through, Craig Smith, Walter Bickmore. Some very quick riders in this Twinshock A class. As you can see, the weather and the landscape here at Lownthwaite Farm in Penrith is absolutely breathtaking. So with this kind of classic racing going on, it just adds to the overall atmosphere of the day. So it's still Alan Bott, your race leader, being hounded by that legendary Kawasaki rider Mark Fulton. Mark Fulton, of course, riding this bike that is owned and maintained by Brian Wood, an extremely fast 500cc two-stroke machine there. So Mark Fulton now hits the front with Alan Bott in 2nd position. But of course Mark Fulton is a legend in motocross terms in this area of the country, and the accolades, the championship wins that this man has had in his years of riding is absolutely astounding since he started racing at 11 years old on his little RM100 Suzuki. So it's Mark Fulton in 1st position, Alan Bott is in 2nd. It looks like Nigel Sowerby is still sitting there in 3rd. Paul Chiappa and Craig Smith going through on their 81-490 490 Michaels. But your race leader is still number 48, Mark Fulton, on the Brian Wood CR500 Honda. Now Mark, of course, cut his teeth in the golden era of motocross when he raced regularly against the GP winners and world champs like the likes of Dave Thorpe, Kurt Nichol, Jem Whately, Rob Herring, and even Andy Nichols, to name just a few. So he'll give you an idea just how talented this rider is. Alan Bott is still in second position. Now, number one going through there is not listed in the programme, but I'm absolutely sure that this is Barry Turnbull. Alan Bott going through. Craig Smith, Paul Chiappa. But here is your current race leader. It's still that man, number 48, Mark Fulton, on the Brian Wood 500 Honda. Mark beginning to stretch the legs of that big, powerful two-stroke Honda machine. Now, Mark Fulton, a vastly experienced motocross rider, and ridden some very good bikes in his career, including Kajivas and Kawasaki, and also had a Kawasaki bike named after him called a Mark Fulton replica. Now, the second place man is still Alan Bott. Number one is still Barry Turnbull in third position. Number 93 is Nigel Sowerby. Number 25 is Craig Smith, with Paul Chiappa close behind. Two very talented Scottish riders. But as our race leader comes round to complete yet another lap, Mark has already opened up a vast lead on the second place man here, Alan Bott, who is becoming under increased pressure from Barry Turnbull in third position. But Mark Fulton is well in front and in command of this first Twinshock A-Class race of the day. But it looks like a very good battle developing between number 74 Alan Bott and number 1 Barry Turnbull for that second placed position. Alan Bott, of course, another hugely experienced Twinshock riders, and even rides these bikes over in the United States from time to time. And so, cruising to his first win of the day, it's number 48, Mark Fulton. Second is going to be Alan Bott on the 81 490 Michael, with Barry Turnbull in third position. Okay, and next up we have the boys of the Twinshock B class. More of those talented Twinshock racers in this particular class. We also have classic bike builder Rod Spry in this particular class, Gary Sowerby, David Bateman on the big Honda. So as they're under starters orders, another good selection of these Twinshock machines. So as they head down into turn 1, number 8 is Andrew Cleaver with a very good start on that big 500cc Honda as the dust begins to lift here at the Cumberland Grand National. And so as we look towards the top side of the track, as the riders come down to the infield, it looks like our current race leader is number 33. I think that's Patrick Idden on the 500 Husqvarna, the 1982 Husqvarna. Number 8 there is Andrew Cleaver on the 81 500 Honda. This is a bike that will be well suited to this fast open track here at Lownthwaite Farm. And so as the dust begins to fly here at Lownthwaite Farm, your current race leader is still number 33, that's Patrick Idden. Second position is number 133, who is unfortunately not listed in the race programme, so I can't identify the rider. Jim Colligan going through there, number 18. A couple of riders nearly having a bit of a tangle there as they make the turn. Now we do hope that the dust won't be a problem for later on in the race programme, but fingers crossed. So as the riders come towards us, it's still number 33, Patrick Idden, on that 1982 500 Husqvarna. Second is still number 133 on what looks like an 81 Michael, but unfortunately I can't identify the rider. Number 8 is Andrew Cleaver, still sitting there in third position, as the rest of the chasing pack make their way through a very good field of riders for this first Twinshock B-Class race of the day. And coming towards us is number 88, that's Billy Pentland on the YZ 490 Yamaha. But it's still number 33, Patrick Idden on the Husqvarna, who is still your current race leader, going very well on that Swedish Twinshock machine. Second is still number 133 with Andrew Cleaver. Number 8 on the big 500 Honda in third position. Now also coming through is number 156, that's David Bateman on the Honda. Number 38 is Gary Craddock on the 250 Kawasaki. 47 is Steve Moore with 43, Andy Mallock. Now also coming through is number 94, that's David Lamb on the Michael, and number 92 is Shane Sowerby. So it's a right old traffic jam beginning to build up at the front of this Twinshock B-Class race, and it's still Patrick Idden on that Husqvarna who has led this race from the start gate and is doing very well to hold up the chasing pack behind him, but it's still Patrick Idden in first place. Number 8 is Andrew Cleaver on the 500 Honda, as the rest of the riders click the gears up and make the dust fly. So as a race leader comes towards us to complete another lap, it's still number 33, Patrick Idden on the Husqvarna, your race leader. Second now is number 240 on the Michael, which unfortunately is not identified in the race programme, so I can't actually tell you the rider's name, but number 133 is also not listed in the programme in third position. Looks like we've got a big 500cc Honda there with a gearbox problem. So as we look to pick up our race leader once again, it's still Patrick Idden on the Husqvarna. It would be a crying shame if Patrick didn't win this race after doing so well right from lap 1. So it's still Patrick Idden, your race leader. Number 240 is in second place on the Michael. Number 133 is in third. Number 8 is Andrew Cleaver on the 500 Honda, and it looks like Andrew is looking to steal one of those first 3 podium positions. And so as our race leader comes round to take his last and final lap and the checkered flag, hopefully, it's number 33, Patrick Idden, who is under pressure from number 240 on what looks like a 1980 400 Michael. So it's a win for Patrick Idden with number 240 second and number 133 in third. As the remainder of our chasing pack come through, number 47 there is Steve Moore, a Scottish rider who races with the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Club. Okay, now we go on to the Twinshock C class. Another good lineup of Twinshock riders for this particular class, and look out for riders like World Sportman Bill Brown, number 53, riding a Michael. Number 14 there is Brian Hamilton on the Suzuki. Number 30 is Malcolm Petrie, who is riding a 600 CCM. Some very good riders in this first Twinshock C-Class race of the day. And so we're just waiting on the OK from the track marshal to say that the track is clear and is good to go for the next race. So as the riders take up positions, wait for the gate to drop. Somebody's jumped to start there and paid the penalty, but it's another good start up the front. Brian Hamilton's made a good run down the side there on the Suzuki, but it looks like they're all safely away from the start line as they begin lap 1. Now this event goes ahead each year, of course, thanks to the landowners, Mr. and Mrs. Trevor Odd, who allow their lovely venue to be used for this classic scramble each and every season. So to pick up our race leader, it's number treble 3, that's Lee Bateman on the 500 Michael. Second position looks to me like it's Stephen Atkin on that 400cc Suzuki, as the rest of the chasing pack make their way through. So here is your race leader, Lee Bateman on the 582 Michael, going absolutely superbly here at this beautiful Lownthwaite racetrack. Also just going through there is Mr. Wolfsport himself, Bill Brown, who does a lot for this kind of racing in terms of sponsorship and sponsoring particular riders to race. So thanks to Bill at Wolfsport for all he does for classic and Twinshock racing. So as we look to the far side of the track, we're trying to pick up a race leader, which is Lee Bateman, who is still circumnavigating this Lownthwaite twisty turny track, but he's doing absolutely superbly on this big, quick German made Michael. Now second place man is still Stephen Atkin on the Suzuki, and the rider in third there is another one of the riders that are not listed in the race programme. Number 53 here is Bill Brown, having a good tussle there with number 14 Brian Hamilton. So here once again is number 53 is Bill Brown on his Michael, 490 Michael, being chased by number 14 Brian Hamilton. Number 13 going through there is Robin Chadwick on the big 480 Honda. So as we look to pick up our race leader once again in this first Twinshock C-Class race, it's still Lee Bateman on the 82 500 Michael, who is your race leader. Lee, of course, is a local man from Penrith, so he's not had too far to travel to get to this particular track. In second position, it's still number 155, that's Stephen Atkin on the Suzuki. And number 14 coming towards us is Brian Hamilton, a Scottish rider once again on his Suzuki. Just been passed at that particular turn, unfortunately, as they make their way to the far side of the racetrack. Now Lee Bateman is still your race leader, but it looks like there's a change of second place position. Your second place rider is now number 212, that's Trevor Guy, also riding a 490 Michael, and number 155 Stephen Atkin is now being demoted to third position, but looks like a good scrap developing between these two for the second and third placings. But it looks like it's going to be his first win of the day for Lee Bateman as he comes round to take the checkered flag. Trevor Guy looks like he's going to steal that second place position from number 155, Stephen Atkin, on the Suzuki. Okay, next up we have the first of the classic races. This is the combined pre-60s Unlimited, pre-68 up to 350cc and the pre-75 up to 250cc. Now you can see another good lineup of riders as they wait for the gate to drop, and as they head down into turn 1, it's a very good start by number 65. That's John Baitup on the 650 Tribsa. Now this is an old machine from 1958, so it's a cracking start from John Baitup on that old bike. Just Goddard going through there, Lewis Bell, Mike Bell. A very good lineup of classic racers in this combined race. And so as we pick up our race leaders, it's still number 65, John Baitup, your race leader. Number 146 is second, that's Simon Chell. Joss Goddard is in third. Lewis Bell is in fourth, with Derek Macaulay on the Bultaco Persang in fifth. Now of course this is a combined race with three different classes in this particular race, so as they cross the checkered flag for the finish line, they will be scored in their own individual classes. So as we look to pick up our race leader, I think there's a change of leader at the front. It looks like number 146, that's Simon Chell, also riding a 650 Tribsa from 1957, so it's a very quick bike for being an old vintage Triumph based engine with the BSA frame. So there is your race leader, it's number 146, it's Simon Chell. And so as we look to pick up our brand new race leader of this three class race, it's still number 146, Simon Chell, riding that 63-year-old Tribsa 650. Now I know this bike is 63-year-old because it's exactly the same age as myself. Now Derek Macaulay looks like he's moved up into second position on the Mark 7 Bultaco Persang. Now third position looks like it's still John Baitup, also riding a Tribsa, with what looks like Joss Goddard on that 380 Greaves Griffin very close behind. But it looks like our race leader Simon Chell is coming under increased pressure from Derek Macaulay on that Spanish built 250 Bultaco Persang, a very light and nimble little two-stroke machine. So Derek Macaulay is up there in second position. Looks like John Baitup has just closed the door there on Joss Goddard to stop him stealing that third place position. So as we look to our riders at the far side of the track, it's still Simon Chell on the Tribsa 650 who is leading Derek Macaulay on the lighter and more nimble Spanish 250 Bultaco two-stroke. Joss Goddard on the 380 Greaves Griffin is going through in third position. John Baitup is now down to fourth, and it looks like Lewis Bell is sitting there in fifth position. But it looks like Derek Macaulay and Joss Goddard have had a coming together in one of the corners there. Derek Macaulay, of course, was sitting in second position with Joss Goddard close behind in third. It looks like both these riders have had a bit of a tangle, and Derek McCauley's managed to get his bike up and running again, but here is your race leader Simon Chell, who can now breathe a bit easier without the second and third place riders being on his back wheel. And so as we pick up our race leader, the current positions are now, it's Simon Chell, the race leader. Second will be John Baitup on the Tripsa 650, with Lewis Bell riding that Shenny Jawa in third position. So there is your race leader, Simon Chell. Second is John Baitup. Third is Lewis Bell on the 500 Jawa, and in fourth position now is Joe Chell on that Hobbs Tripsa. And so as our current race leader heads towards starting his last and final lap, it's number 146. It's Simon Chell who is riding superbly. John Baitup is in there, very close behind in second position. Third place is still Lewis Bell. Fourth place is Joe Chell, and he is looking to challenge Lewis Bell for that race position. And so as they head towards the checkered flag, it's still Simon Chell with a slight lead over second place man number 65, that's John Baitup. Now this could be a good finish towards the end, and John Baitup is closer than he's ever been to Simon Chell, so this could be a good finish, but it looks like Simon Chell is going to hang on for the win in this particular race. So it's a win, I think, for number 146, Simon Chell. Second will be John Baitup, and third place will go to Joe Chell. Okay, the classic racing continues as we move over to the pre-1968 over 350cc class. Now another fantastic lineup of riders for this vintage race event. Now we're under starters orders, and as they leave the line, looks like Aaron Graves, he's got a big wheelie on there and didn't get off the line, but it's Liston Bell, it looks like, who's got the whole shot as they head into the far side of the racetrack. So as we look to the far side of the track to pick up our race leaders in this first pre-68 over 350cc class race, it looks like it's Liston Bell, number 98, on his 540 Jawa Matisse, who is your current race leader. Second position looks like it's number 99, that's Greg Speed on that Shenny BSA from 1967. So as they continue on lap 1, we try and pick up our race leader, which looks still like it's Liston Bell, number 98. Liston, of course, a very experienced young rider. Second place looks like it's still Greg Speed on that 500 Shenny BSA. Aaron Graves looks like he's starting to move through the pack after a really bad start when he popped a wheelie when the gate dropped and lost a lot of places, but he's beginning to peg his way back through the racing pack. But your new race leader is number 99, it's Greg Speed on the BSA, who is holding off Liston Bell in second position, and Liston, of course, is riding that big 540cc Jawa Matisse bike. And so as it stands, it's Greg Speed in first position, Liston Bell second. Aaron Graves has now already moved up to third position after that really bad start, so Aaron Graves must have got the hammer down in the first lap or two to get that BSA right up here with the front contenders. But here is your race leader. It's still number 99, Greg Speed, with number 98, Liston Bell in second, and number 188, Aaron Graves, in third position. So a good race developing between these first 4 or 5 riders. And as they all head to the far side of the track, you can see that Liston Bell has now taken the lead, and Aaron Graves has now moved up into second position. So it's been a cracking ride by Aaron Graves, and he's already challenging for that prime position at the front, and it's now Aaron Graves who is diving down the inside of Liston Bell to take the lead of this first pre-1968 over 350cc class race. Now you have to remember that Aaron Graves was left for dead at the start line when he dropped the clutch and popped a massive wheelie when the rest of the pack were already into turn 1. So this has been a fantastic ride by Aaron Graves to put this BSA right on the prime spot in this first pre-68 class race of the day. Second is still Liston Bell. Third is number 99, that's Greg Speed on the Shenny BSA. But as the leader heads round to complete yet another lap, this has been a fantastic ride by Aaron Graves on this BSA. Second position is still Liston Bell. Third is still number 99, that's Greg Speed. Number 9, Lewis Bell, is in fourth position. And so as the front runners start their last and final lap, it's still Aaron Graves who is your race leader. Second is number 98, Liston Bell. Number 99 is Greg Speed in third position, being challenged now by Lewis Bell, number 9, as they all head towards the checkered flag. But here is the rider that deserves all the applause in this pre-68 over 350cc class race. A fantastic ride by number 188, Aaron Graves, who now takes the checkered flag in first position. Second will be, hopefully, Liston Bell. Third will be Greg Speed, with Lewis Bell in fourth. Okay, our next race is the pre-1975 over 250cc class combined with the pre-1968 unlimited. So there's some big powerful machines in this particular class. So as they leave the line, it looks like a cracking start by Jonathan Bethel on the CCM. Trevor Calderwood from Northern Ireland is in second position as they come into start lap 1. It's still Jonathan Bethel on the Alan Clues CCM in first position, Trevor Calderwood second, and it looks like Chris Chell is your third place man as the rest of the pack begin lap 1. And so as we look to the far side of the track to pick up our race leader, it is now Trevor Calderwood from Northern Ireland who is your race leader. Jonathan Bethel second, Chris Chell third. Looks like Joss Goddard is well up there on the 380 Greaves as the rest of the pack go through to chase these front runners. Now it looks like we've got a faller into that turn. That looks like Steve Gregson on the CCM, but it looks like he's just a bit winded. Hopefully Steve will get back on the bike and continue racing. But it's now Chris Chell who is your race leader, Trevor Calderwood second, Jonathan Bethel third, Josh Goddard is in fourth position. Coming through there, number 100 is Ian Robertson, of course. Some very quick riders on some nice bikes in this pre-68 Unlimited and pre-75 over 250cc class. So it still looks like it's number 264, that's Chris Chell on that very quick 500 Shenny BSA, who is your new race leader. Trevor Calderwood is still in second position on the CZ with Jonathan Bethel, your third placed rider on a big Alan Clues CCM. But Chris Chell is riding superbly and just beginning to get a bit of distance between himself and second place rider Trevor Calderwood. So as Chris Chell comes round to complete another lap, he is doing really well on that Shenny BSA. Trevor Calderwood in second there, number 32, with Jonathan Bethel in third. Looks like Joss Goddard is still holding on to that fourth place position on the Greaves Griffin. And coming towards us, number 50 there, that's Les Calderwood, who's the brother of Trevor, of course, on riding his big Alan Clues CCM. And so as we pick up our race leaders, once again it's still the youngster Chris Chell, number 264 on that Shenny BSA. Chris, of course, comes from Stoke-on-Trent and a very experienced young rider riding this big 500 BSA machine. So here is your race leader. It's Chris Chell, number 264 on the beautifully turned out Shenny BSA, as Chris comes round to complete yet another racing lap. Trevor Calderwood is still in there in second position with Jonathan Bethel in third. And as you can see, the conditions for racing here at Lownthwaite Farm are absolutely superb in the lovely summer sunshine. So there is your race leader, number 264, Chris Chell. Second should be Trevor Calderwood, who is riding an absolutely superb race. Jonathan Bethel is still there in third position. Looks like we have a change of fourth placed rider, and I'll give you an update on that as we catch up once more. But it's still Chris Chell who is your race leader. Chris, of course, is part of the very successful Chell family who race at these vintage and scrambling events, and they're all very talented racers and riders. So here is your second placed rider. It's still the Northern Irishman from Newtonards in Northern Ireland, Trevor Calderwood, who is still hanging on to that second place and being chased by Jonathan Bethel, riding that number 44 CCM. Jonathan, of course, using the racing numbers of his late and great CCM legend father, John Bethel. And so as our race leader heads towards the checkered flag, it looks like it's going to be a very dominant win for number 264, Chris Chell, on the Shenny BSA. Second position should still be Trevor Calderwood, with Jonathan Bethel in a very fine third place position. Okay, next up we have the Clubman class. Now this class is basically for riders who really want to just have a bit of fun on their motocross machines, but nevertheless there's still some quite talented riders in this particular class. So as you leave the start line, try to pick up our race leader. Looks like it's Gary Smith, number 115 on that AMD CZ, who has taken the early lead. Number 51 there is Ian Ridley, who's vastly responsible for building this track. Now this number 55 rider, this is of course Keith Barnes' Clues stroker, but unfortunately it's not Keith that's riding the bike today. Keith has loaned his bike to a friend to have a blast. I'm sure that Keith had some kind of hand injury at this point in the season and was unable to ride his precious Clues stroker, so Keith has kindly loaned his machine to this rider to have a blast around the track. And so as we look towards the far side of the track for our race leader, it's still Gary Smith on the what I think is a 360 CZ. Gary very good on this Czechoslovakian racing machine. Number 55 again is of course the Clues stroker belonging to Keith Barnes, and I do apologise for not being able to name the rider. His actual name wasn't listed in the day's programme, so apologies for not being able to tell you his name. Third position there is still Ian Ridley with number 72. That's Philip Hardesty going through on the BSA. But of course this Clubman class is basically set up to allow any riders who own an old vintage race bike to just get them out on the track and have a go and a bit of fun on their old race bikes. So maybe this is something that many of you riders out there who have an old race bike would like to maybe take part in. So as we look to the far side of the track to pick up our race leader, it's still Gary Smith, but it looks like he's coming under pressure here from that number 55 rider on the Clues stroker. Looks like he's looking to make a move for that first position. So we have the light Czechoslovakian two-stroke bike up against the big 500cc BSA derived CCM, built of course by the late great Alan Clues. So it now looks like it's number 55, your race leader, and Gary Smith has been demoted to second position. Now of course these Clues strokers were the very first machines that Alan Clues ever produced when he first started making motorcycles, and that was before he even registered the name Clues Competition Machines. So these are very, very rare machines, these 1972 Clues strokers, and as you can see are reasonably quick as well. And so there is your race leader, number 55 on the Keith Barnes Clues stroker machine. Very nice machines, these big four-stroke. Second position should still be Gary Smith on the CZ. And so as we look to the far side of the racetrack, as our race leader comes round to start his last and final lap, it's number 55 who's already beginning to open up a gap on second place man Gary Smith. But if you have an old vintage race bike lying under a cover in your old workshop, then if you fancy having a bit run round the track in this Clubman class, then just get in touch with the club. Number 72 there, that's Clifford Hardesty on the 350 BSA. But it looks like it's going to be a very comfortable win for number 55. Once again, apologies for not being able to name the actual rider, but it's a win for number 55 on the Keith Barnes Clues stroker, and a very good race for that particular rider in this Clubman class. Okay, next up we are back to the British Classic Racing Championship for race 2. This is the second leg of the British Championship that will be held here at the Cumberland Grand National. So this is the cream of the crop of vintage motocross racers in the UK and Northern Ireland. Now, of course, these riders are divided up into two separate championships, the pre-65 class and the pre-1975 class riders. So as they get under starters' orders, just waiting for the gate to drop. And it looks like another cracking start by Chris Winder, of course, who won that first race earlier on in proceedings, but it looks like everybody is safely round turn 1 as the dust begins to fly here at Lownthwaite Farm.
Bell's got bad starts, goes to Bell's 98, number 9, Liston Lewis got bad starts.
And so as we head to the far side of the track to pick up our race leader, it's still Chris Winder. Remember, Chris Winder won that first leg in fine style, and it looks like he's already beginning to open up a lead in the second British Championship race. Number 651, that is Will Baitup on the 500 Jawa, with Trevor Calderwood in third position and Aaron Graves, number 188 in the black there, on that extremely quick BSA. And so as the dust begins to fly here at Lownthwaite Farm, there is your race leader. It's number 285, that's Chris Winder on that 250 Honda Elsinore, already beginning to open up a gap here on the end of lap 1 as the rest of the chasing pack go through, but it looks like Will Baitup is still in there in second position. And remember, although this is a combined class race between the pre-65s and pre-75 classes, both these classes will be scored separately by the electronic timing as they cross the finish line. But here is your leader of the pre-1975 class. It's Chris Winder, who is already sitting at 55 points in this championship for 2018. Will Baitup is still in second position. Trevor Calderwood there is in third, with Aaron Graves doing really well, chasing Trevor Calderwood for that third place position. Trevor Calderwood, of course, is one of the more mature riders riding at this event, and he's doing extremely well out there, surrounded by many younger riders in this particular class. Number 651, that's Will Baitup on the 500 Jawa in second. Still Trevor Calderwood third, as the rest of the chasing pack make their way through to complete yet another lap. So as we look towards the top side of the track, it looks like that man is still in there in first place. It's still Chris Winder. Second is this man here, number 651. That's Will Baitup on that 500 Jawa machine. Looks like Trevor Calderwood is in there in third position. Looks like Aaron Graves has dropped down a couple of places. Chris Chell is now beginning to carve his way through this pack. Chris Chell, of course, riding that Shenny BSA. So as it stands, it's still Chris Winder in first position. Will Baitup is in second, and we have a new third place rider, which is Ashley Wilson, number 857 on the 380 CZN. It looks like Chris Chell has now moved up and overtaken the Irishman Trevor Calderwood. So it looks like Chris Winder is in a very comfortable position to possibly take this second round of the British Championship races here at the Cumberland Grand National. Now these British Championship races, of course, are 10 laps of the track as opposed to the 4 or 5 laps for the other classic racing classes, but here is your race leader. It's Chris Winder, who has got a substantial lead now over the rest of the chasing pack. Your second place rider is still Will Beatup, and it looks like Chris Chell is now in third position. That looks like Liston Bell is also making moves to hit the front of the second British Championship race. So as you can see, the lead that this man here, Chris Winder, has over the second place man, Will Beatup. Chris looking very comfortable on this 250 Elsinore. Very light and very nimble, these little Hondas, of course made famous when they were raced at Lake Elsinore in California. So there is your third place rider. It's number 264, Chris Chell, who almost caught the fourth placed rider, which was Ashley Wilson's 380 CZ. But it doesn't look like anybody is going to get close enough to Chris Winder to steal that first place position. Chris riding absolutely superbly. Will Beatup is still in second place, but he's coming under pressure now from Chris Chell on the Shenny PSA as our race leader of the pre-1975 class. Chris Winder makes his way into the centre of the racetrack. Will Beatup there is in second with Chris Chell third. Looks like Ashley Wilson is in fourth position on his very quick CZ. Now as you can see, there's a very good race developing between young Chris Chell and 857 Ashley Wilson for that third and fourth place positions. Now number 115 coming through there, that's Nick Archer on his 250 BSA. Another very quick rider on a rather nice looking machine. So we're looking at the battle for second, third and fourth positions. It looks like it's Chris Chell who is still in second position. Will Beatup is now into third position. And Ashley Wilson, number 857, is there on his CZ. It looks like Liston Bell is beginning to catch up with these second, third and fourth placed riders. So there is your second place man. It's Chris Chell. Will Beatup is in third with Ashley Wilson in fourth. And so as we look to pick up our race leader at the far side of the track, it's still Chris Winder out there on his own in that 250 Elsinore, who is leading the pre-1975 part of this combined British Championship race. Don't forget that these riders will be scored in their own individual classes by the electronic timing as they cross the finish line. But Chris Winder is driving absolutely superbly here. Remember, Chris took the first leg of this British Championship race in the first event. So it's Chris Chell there in second position, being chased by Will Baitup and Ashley Wilson on the CZ. But this is a good battle for the second, third and fourth positions on the racetrack. Chris Chell doing very well to keep these riders behind him. Chris, of course, riding that beautiful blue tanked Shenny BSA bike. And so as we look to pick up our race front runners, it looks like it's Will Baitup who is now taking that second position from Chris Chell. Will Baitup, of course, riding that big 500 single cylinder Jawa machine. So it's Will Baitup who is in second position on the track, Chris Chell in third, and it looks like Ashley Wilson is still digging his heels in there on his 380 CZ. So as we look at our second position rider, that's Will Baitup, number 651 on the 500 Jawa machine. Will, of course, from Crawley Down, and a very quick rider in this British Championship class. And so as we look at our race leader, Chris Winder, as he heads around the track on his last and final lap of the second British Championship race. I do hope you've enjoyed the racing footage from this part 1 video of the Cumberland Grand National. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like what you are seeing, and look out for more of this racing from the Cumberland Grand National 2018 coming up in part 2. And so it's his second win of the day for Chris Winder in the British Championship pre-1975 class. So I hope you've enjoyed all the racing footage, and look out for more racing from this event in part 2 coming soon.